Hi everyone, Aiden here at the etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Hollywood Rack's Destination e-bike rack and seeing how it fits on the back of our 2023 Honda Odyssey. Now, like the name suggests, this is an e-bike rack capable of carrying up to 70 pounds per bike. It's going to be one of my favorite options for e-bikes if you want some assistance loading it, because it does come with a ramp. One of the nice things about it. Now, in addition to all that, the way it holds the bike is by the frame. Now, that does mean it's not the best option for carbon frame bikes, but if you've got an e-bike, you're probably not thinking about a carbon frame. You might for certain ones, but honestly, I think that'll be okay. And with the way it holds it with this clamp, being able to rotate 360 degrees and move around to meet the frame where it is, it's going to work really well for our step-through frames, pretty common with e-bikes. And with the wheel straps on the bottom, it's going to get a really strong hold on the bike too. The two straps on the wheels at the bottom here pull the bike down and in, which creates a lot of stability. And then there's another strap on the front tire that just keeps that from moving side to side. Again, just improving stability overall. So as far as how it holds the bike, I like it a lot. And if our bike has fenders, we don't have to worry about any wheel hooks or wheel hoops that would interfere with that either. Now, one thing that's really unique about this rack is the way it tilts. There's going to be a hand knob just underneath the mast at the back end that we can loosen up. Might be hard to see out in the sun here, but you loosen it, push it out of the way, and I'll go ahead and just push the whole rack away from the vehicle almost a full 90 degrees. And with the way it pivots, it doesn't feel heavy at all. So it kind of centers up the weight in a unique way where you can lower it down by yourself very easily. This gives you full access to the back of your vehicle if you need it. Maybe somewhere to sit and change your shoes before or after your ride. But if you don't need any of that, that's okay. We can just bring this back up. And again, not very heavy at all. Even if you did have it loaded up with e-bikes, it would still be very manageable. So it just adds to the overall ease of use of this rack. We'll tighten down that hand knob again to secure it, and we're good to go. Now from here, I'd like to talk about loading and unloading the bike. To do that, we're going to get our wheel straps undone first. There's going to be gray buttons on the side of those straps, and then you can just pull the ratcheting straps out. They're plenty long, so even if you've got a longer wheelbase bike, they'll be able to reach really easily, and also for wider tires. At this point, I'll get the ramp attachment. Because this does come included with the rack, it has this oval shaped cutout at the top that'll notch into the back side of the tray, right by our back tire. So on the other side, it'll be for the other cradle. And we can loosen it up to extend it. So I'll get this set up in place. And once it's in position, we can undo the clamp holding our bike frame in. You'll notice that there is a spot for a lock, so it can be locked up, and in that position it'll just free spin, making sure that your bike stays put when you're not around. Once you've got it loose enough, you can wheel the bike down the ramp. So with this, and how it fits on the Odyssey, one thing I really like about it is that the ramp is at a very shallow angle. So you don't have to worry about this being hard to load up or unload. Now, obviously, we've got a pretty small road bike today, but for those heavier e-bikes, that's going to go a really long way and just making the whole thing easier to use. And the other thing is, with how wide the ramp is, if you did have some wider tires, it's going to fit into that track really well and, again, make it easier to use. Now, one thing I will say about it is that the ramp doesn't store on the rack. So you're going to have to find space inside your van to store it whenever you're not using it, or just keep it in your garage if you don't intend on bringing it with you to the trail. But you're probably just going to be bringing it with you, finding a place in your car. But because it compacts down, it does save space. And at this point, I like to undo or redo all my straps. And we can get some measurements, starting off with our ground clearance. The ground clearance is going to be the lowest point at the back end, which for us is going to be this outside edge. The reverse U-shaped design here is pretty unique to the Destination series racks. And on this one, on our Honda Odyssey, it's going to be getting us 15 3/4 of an inch of ground clearance. It's a little bit less than some of the other racks we've tested today, but I still think it's enough that you don't have to worry about steep driveways and hills too much. It does also add length to our vehicle. From the bumper to the outer edge of the rack, it does stick out 31 inches, which is right on par with all the other racks we've tested and worked with. So I'd say it's just something to keep in mind as you're driving around, but it shouldn't be too obtrusive. We can fold it up though when it's not in use. To do that, we have to get the mast down first, which will have these two handles that you pop open on either side. Those are held in with rubber straps just to keep them from accidentally popping open. That'll let us fold the whole thing down, re-secure those handles, and the safety straps over top of them. Once that's done, there's going to be a pin and clip located by the bumper that we can undo, and then fold the whole rack up, making sure to repin it with the newly aligned holes at the bottom and clip it into place. Now this is going to be your compact position, and from the bumper to the new furthest out point, it's going to be only 14 inches. So it does save quite a bit of room, and some nice things about it, because it's open in the middle, it does leave your license plate mostly visible. It doesn't come too close to the vehicle either, but it does block your backup camera pretty much entirely, so I would be cautious of that and just don't rely on that for all of your visibility when backing up. And then in the folded state, it does partially obstruct the taillights, but nothing major. All of the main brake lights and turn signals on the outside here should be visible perfectly well, so I think it's going to be just fine. Just watch out for it when you have bikes loaded up, because your fit may differ depending on the shape and size of your bikes. Now moving on to the bottom, we're going to have an integrated anti-rattle system. Right here, it's tool-free, which makes the setup process easy. Just tighten that up in the hitch, keeps things nice and solid. And the way this works is actually binding the hitch pin against the hitch pin hole. So it's a pretty unique system. I like it a lot because it makes it easy to line the hitch pin hole up. And that hitch pin does have a locking core on the end, which is key to those hand knobs up top, because it's all a same key system, very simple and easy to use. And overall, I like the Destination e-bike rack a lot. It's all about ease of use with this. Yes, it's not the most pretty thing in the world, and it does have a pretty bulky shape, but when it comes to ease of use and keeping things accessible for your Odyssey, I think you really just can't beat it. So for me, it's my personal recommendation if you've got e-bikes and you need some help getting them loaded up. Thanks for watching.
Here on our test course, we'll start by going through the Solemn. This is going to show us the side-to-side action, which simulates turning corners and evasive maneuvers. Then we get to the alternating speed bumps. We'll see the twisting action. This will simulate hitting a curb or pothole or driving on uneven pavement. Then we'll go over the full speed bumps, and we can see the up and down action. This will be like driving in and out of a parking lot, garage, or a driveway.